Published in 1971, In the Shadow of Man stands as the third and most renowned work by British primatologist Dr. Jane Goodall. The book chronicles her groundbreaking exploration into the lives of chimpanzees within Tanzania's Gombe Stream National Park. It narrates her remarkable journey from a secretary in the UK to spearheading a significant chimpanzee study in East Africa, solidifying her status as one of the foremost experts in primatology worldwide. Serving as both a memoir and a scientific odyssey into chimp behavior, the book seamlessly integrates Goodall's personal narrative with detailed accounts of her daily interactions with chimpanzees, elucidating the scientific significance of her study. Through her work, Goodall delves into humanity's connection with chimpanzees, the pivotal role of mothers in chimp societies, the rewards and hardships of wildlife research, as well as the evolving scientific understanding of primates. Furthermore, In the Shadow of Man offers a glimpse into colonial East Africa of the 1960s through the eyes of a European female researcher. The initial chapters, Beginnings and Early Days, unveil Goodall's venture to East Africa in her early 20s, fueled by a passion to explore African wildlife. Working diligently as a secretary in the UK, she saved up for her journey, eventually crossing paths with British anthropologist Louis Leakey in Kenya. Leakey, impressed by her dedication, offered her a position as his assistant, leading to her involvement in paleontological expeditions in the Olduvai Gorge and ultimately an opportunity to study chimpanzees in their natural habitat. Chapter 3, First Observations, recounts the initial hurdles and breakthroughs of her research endeavor. Overcoming challenges such as locating and observing the chimps without alarming them proved arduous. Despite contracting malaria, Goodall persisted, gradually earning the trust of the chimps and making significant observations of their behaviors, including displays of affection, territorial rituals, and tool usage for termite fishing. Chapter 4, Camp Life, provides a glimpse into the daily routines within the Gombe camp, offering insight into the practicalities and routines of conducting field research in such a remote and challenging environment. Assisted by her mother, she fostered strong ties with the local community by establishing a clinic and providing medical aid and guidance. The Goodalls resided in a modest tent shelter, traversing Lake Tanganyika to Kigoma for essential supplies. Chapter 5, titled The Rains, recounts Goodall's inaugural rainy season in Gombe, which complicated her use of binoculars, note-taking, and distant chimp observations. She marveled at witnessing a rain dance, during which male chimps theatrically brandished branches and descended a hillside amidst the downpour. Following her mother's departure for England, Goodall adapted to solitary living. Encountering the chimps at closer quarters, she initially faced hostility and territorial displays, but gradually earned their acceptance, witnessing a decrease in aggression over time. Moreover, Louis Leakey facilitated her enrollment in Cambridge University for a PhD in ethology, animal behavior. In Chapter 6, The Chimps Come to Camp, Goodall reminisces about her longing for Gombe during her initial term at Cambridge. Upon her return, she delighted in the presence of David Greybeard, an adult male chimp, and his occasional visits to the camp, often accompanied by 2 other males. Goodall eagerly observed them at close range, offering them bananas. In Chapter 7, Flo's Sex Life, Goodall delves into female Flo's mating season, shedding light on chimp reproductive behavior. Flo attracted the attention of all adult males, while adolescent males were kept at bay. Goodall was intrigued by Flo's affectionate relationship with Rodolphe, a male chimp, and the absence of rivalry among adult males for Flo's affections. Later, Flo gave birth to a male offspring, named Flint by Goodall. Chapter 8, The Feeding Station, narrates Goodall's endeavors to regulate the chimp's fruit consumption at the camp, her return to the UK for her 3rd term at Cambridge, and her marriage to Hugo van Lawick in London later that year. Back in Gombe, Goodall, Van Lawick, and their assistants relocated the feeding station due to conflicts with baboons and the chimps' increasingly audacious behavior. Goodall records another instance of tool innovation and utilization as the chimps fashioned sponges from crumpled and chewed leaves to drink water. Chapter 9, Flo and Her Family, delves into the reactions of Flo's other offspring to the arrival of Flint. While his brothers, Figon and Fabin, showed minimal interest in the newborn, his sister, Fifi, displayed a keen fascination. Over time, Flo entrusted Fifi to hold and even transport Flint, and Goodall observed his brothers using him as a means to coax their mother to accompany them elsewhere. Chapter 10, The Hierarchy, explores the dynamic nature of status within the chimp community, highlighting the ascent of male chimp Mike from a subordinate position to the dominant male over a few years. Goodall observes that females typically deferred to adult males, but maintained intricate hierarchies among themselves through vocalizations, body language, and occasionally violent confrontations. Although the author speculated that enduring friendships within the group might stem from sibling relationships, this remained unconfirmed. In Chapter 11, The Growth of the Research Center, Goodall recounts how the National Geographic Society supported the expansion of the research camp to accommodate students conducting studies. However, increased familiarity with humans led to aggressive competition at the feeding station and raids on the camp for food. To address this, researchers implemented irregular feeding schedules and reinforced feeding containers. Additionally, Goodall imposed restrictions on physical contact with the chimps. Chapters 12 to 14, The Infant, the Child, and the Adolescent, delve into chimp development into adulthood, contrasting maternal styles such as Flo's nurturing with instances of neglect from chimps like Ollie and Passion. Goodall notes that while young male and female chimps exhibit similar behaviors, males demonstrate aggression and sexual activity before females. Chapter 15, Adult Relationships, examines sexual behavior among chimps, highlighting infrequent fertility among females and their tendency to mate with multiple males within the group. Goodall reflects on the absence of enduring affection between mating partners and ponders the evolutionary purpose behind the pronounced genital swelling in females during estrus. In Chapter 16, Baboons and Predation, Goodall explores the varied interactions between chimps and baboons, ranging from playful engagement to instances of chimps preying on baboons. Lastly, in Chapter 17, Death, Goodall shares the somber account of 6 Gombe chimps succumbing to a polio epidemic. The author theorizes that the chimps contracted polio from nearby human communities and recounts her efforts to save some of them by administering oral vaccines. Goodall candidly admits that this epidemic marked the most agonizing period of her life, as many chimps suffered severe disabilities and faced rejection from their peers. Chapter 18, Mother and Child, delves into the fundamental bond between mothers and offspring, emphasizing the individuality of female chimps and how their parenting decisions shape the health and behavior of their young throughout life. Goodall reflects on why orphan chimps struggle when their mothers die, despite being physically capable of surviving without them. She notes that some orphans perish due to prolonged sadness rather than lack of sustenance. In Chapter 19, In the Shadow of Man, Goodall draws parallels between humans and chimps, highlighting similarities in social hierarchies, body language, and tool usage, while acknowledging differences in communication, intelligence, and social skills. She expresses empathy for chimps, recognizing their intelligence and sentience, but lamenting that they live in the shadow of humanity. Expanding on this theme in Chapter 20, Man's Inhumanity, Goodall condemns human cruelty towards chimps, identifying poachers, zoos, and medical laboratories as significant threats to chimp safety and welfare. She advocates for a more compassionate and respectful relationship between the two species. The final chapter, Family Postscript, offers updates on Goodall's professional and personal life. With more research students observing the Gombe chimps, Goodall and Van Lawick explore other animal studies, such as hyenas. She also prioritizes spending time with her son, Grub, taking breaks from Gombe. Goodall concludes by sharing a cherished memory of her time with chimp David Greybeard in Gombe, before her study gained widespread recognition. I hope you enjoyed this video. Leave a like if you did, and be sure to subscribe. Thank you.